It's 3 in the morning here, in what's left of Lower Manhattan, and the air outside this building feels like it has been drained of everything human. I don't know how else to say it. It's cold in a way that has nothing to do with temperature. The window in front of me is cracked open an inch because the air in here tastes like metal if I keep it closed. It's 52 degrees in here. That's what my little thermometer says. I keep looking at it like it's a lifeline, like the number will tell me if things are going to get better. But it just sits there with that same number. There's no heater running. I'm on a backup battery. I've got about 3 car batteries wired together under the table, feeding an inverter, and I'm praying to God that the little solar panel I put on the roof last summer can give me enough to stay on long enough to talk to someone out there, if anyone can even hear me anymore. My name's Trent Dawson. I used to do traffic and weather on this frequency, 95.4 FM, but traffic hasn't been a thing for 8 days now, and the weather doesn't seem like the big thing anymore. If someone you loved was still out there, and this was the only signal they'd ever hear, what would you say to them? The city is silent in a way that doesn't make sense. New York was never silent. Even at 3 in the morning, there were always horns and someone yelling somewhere, always a siren rolling through. Now I can hear a can clattering a block away like it's right next to me. I can hear my own pulse in my ears when I stop talking. And I keep stopping, listening for something. I don't even know what anymore. Maybe for that sound in the sky again. I don't know if you've heard it where you are. Maybe you think I'm crazy. But if you heard it, you know what I mean. That hum that isn't a hum. That moving low sound that makes the air heavy in your chest. It's like thunder that doesn't end. That was the first thing that made me think something was wrong. It was last Thursday morning, 7:30. I was walking here from my apartment, crossing Broadway, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. I remember the light was yellow, that pale, dirty yellow we get in fall right before the cold really sets in. And then it came. A vibration first, like a subway train under my feet. Only there was no train. I know because the subway has been a dead hole since the flooding last spring. Then the sound started, and everybody just stopped. I mean, everyone. Cars stopped. People turned their heads like animals. Nobody said a word. I looked up, and I swear to you, I didn't see a plane, or a drone, or anything that makes sense. I saw nothing. But something was up there, because the clouds looked like they were being pushed out from a center point. You could see this perfect circle forming, and that hum, it kept getting deeper, and I could feel it in my teeth. And then every single phone, in every single hand around me, just died. Like that. Black screens. People started tapping them like that was going to do anything. By the time I got into this building, the traffic lights were out. Cars were bumping into each other at slow speeds, like bumper cars because no one knew what to do. And then it wasn't just phones. It was everything. Elevators stopped. ATMs went blank. The lights in here flickered and then shut down. We've been living on batteries since then. The city was thrown back 100 years in 10 minutes. I'm telling you this because that was the first day. That was the moment everything tipped. I'm not even sure if this will reach you, because the FM repeaters on the towers aren't powered anymore. I'm using a short-range antenna on the roof and hoping someone in this area hears me. Maybe you're out there with an old radio in your car, or you've got some rig in a basement. I don't know. If you can hear me, just know this. Whatever's happening, it's everywhere. I talked to a guy who used to work air traffic control out of Newark just before the lines went dead. He told me the last thing they heard on the National Aviation Channel was pilots screaming over static, and he said they were seeing lights, not like planes, not like flares, but groups of lights moving together perfectly, like they were one thing, over the Atlantic, over the Midwest, over the Pacific coast, and then their screens just went blank. He said the radar was showing the sky full and then it was showing nothing. And right after that, silence. That was 8 days ago. I haven't heard a single official voice since. I went up to the roof yesterday, hoping to get a look across the East River. There's no glow anymore. You know that orange glow that the city used to throw into the clouds? It's gone. Everything past a few blocks is pitch black. It feels like the city is floating in space. You can see the stars so clearly now, and I hate it. I used to love stars. Now they just make me feel like I'm hanging onto a rock that's being watched. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they want. All I know is that whatever they did to the power grid, it wasn't just here. There's no planes. There's no news. There's no police on the streets anymore. You can walk 10 blocks without seeing anyone now. Food's already going bad. I was down at a little deli on Canal Street this afternoon, and the guy was just handing out whatever he had in the fridges. No power, no way to keep anything cold. There were about 30 of us lined up, quiet, no one even talking, just taking what we could carry. And then, while we were standing there, that sound came back. It rolled across the sky like a wave and people just dropped their bags. I swear a woman next to me just started crying without even knowing why. And then the sound faded, and everybody picked up their food and went back to whatever they were doing like nothing happened. That's what's scaring me the most. People are already starting to act like this is normal. I don't want this to be normal. I've been living in this booth. Got a sleeping bag in the corner. I boil water on a little propane stove. I haven't showered in over a week. I keep the radio on because the silence feels like it's eating me when I turn it off. If there's anyone out there, if you're still listening, find batteries. Find canned food. Don't count on help coming. I don't think there's anyone left to send it. There's a part of me that wants to believe the lights in the sky are people trying to help us. That maybe they're here to fix something. But every time I think that, I remember the way everything shut down. It wasn't gentle. It was like they cut the strings holding us up. Like they wanted to watch how fast we'd fall. I'll keep talking as long as I can. I'll keep this station alive, even if it's only reaching one person. You need to know you're not alone in this, even if the rest of the world feels dead. It's 3:27 a.m. now. I don't know when I'll sleep. Maybe I won't. Maybe I can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see that circle in the clouds, and I hear that sound, and I wonder if the next time I hear it, that'll be the last thing I ever hear. I've been trying to write down the days on the wall behind me with a marker so I don't lose track of time, but I think I might already be off by one. It doesn't matter much. Time feels different now. You don't hear traffic. You don't hear planes. You don't hear the city's heartbeat anymore. And suddenly it feels like the hours are just one long stretch of the same thing. The sun comes up, and you just sit there, waiting for it to go back down again. I've been going out during the day when I think it's safest. At night, I lock the door, and I keep a metal pipe next to me, because I don't know who's walking around out there. It's not that there are gangs or anything like that yet, at least not around here. It's that everyone's scared, and scared people do stupid things. 2 days ago, I saw a guy down on Water Street breaking into a pharmacy with a brick. He wasn't even running. He wasn't trying to hide. He just walked up, threw the brick through the window, crawled in, and started loading up a bag with whatever he could grab. There were 3 other people standing on the sidewalk, just watching him. None of them said anything. When he came out, he looked at them like he expected them to fight him for the bag, but nobody moved. He walked away, and they just kept standing there, like they'd forgotten why they were outside. I've been thinking a lot about that, about how quick everything gets quiet when people realize no one's coming to stop them. When I first started working in radio, I used to think about what it would be like to be on air during a big blackout, like a hurricane or a snowstorm. Back then, the idea was that you'd be this voice telling people where to find shelter, where to find a warm meal, which roads to take to get to safety. Now there aren't any roads that work. The bridges are clogged with dead cars. The tunnels are dark, and there's nowhere to tell people to go. This city has more people than it knows what to do with, but it wasn't built to survive without power. Without power, we're just animals trying to live on a rock. I've been thinking about leaving the building during the day and trying to find a better spot to set up. Maybe something higher. If the battery holds, maybe I can haul everything to one of the taller buildings near the river. But the truth is, I don't know if I can carry this gear. And the higher you go, the more open you are. Yesterday, around noon, I heard that sound again. It's always around midday, or after dark. I don't know if that means anything. I went up to the roof, and this time, I saw something. At first, I thought I was just imagining it because I wanted so badly to see something that would make this make sense. But it was there. Across the sky, over Brooklyn, there was a line of lights, maybe 8 or 9 of them, perfectly spaced, moving like they were tied together. Not fast, just steady, silent. They weren't blinking like a plane. They didn't fade out like lanterns, and then, all at once, they stopped. Just stopped. And that low hum started up again, and I swear my knees gave out. It's not just sound. It's like it presses into your head and chest until you feel like you're going to fall apart. And then, just like that, they were gone. I don't even know if they flew away or if they just turned themselves off. I sat on that roof for hours after that, staring at the sky, waiting to see them again. I didn't. I just saw the empty sky, and I thought about how many millions of people used to live under it. You know what's strange? You'd think the city would stink by now. No garbage pickup, no sewage pumps running. But it doesn't. It smells like nothing. Even the smell of smoke is fading. It's like the world itself is holding its breath. I don't know how the rest of the country is doing. I tried the emergency bans on this thing, and they're dead. No FEMA, no National Guard, nothing but static. I found one guy up in Connecticut broadcasting yesterday. He said it's the same up there. Silent highways, empty skies. The lights, when they come, are over the water most of the time. He hasn't seen one over land yet. He told me he thinks it's not an attack. He thinks it's a test. Like they're watching what we do when everything is taken away. He said, if they wanted us dead, they could have just dropped something and been done with it. But they didn't. They shut everything down and left us to eat each other. I keep turning that over in my head. I don't know if I believe him. I've been rationing water. I've got maybe 3 gallons left. I started filling up every bottle I had the minute the pump stopped, because I knew this would happen. If you're out there, and you've got running water, fill everything. Buckets, bathtubs, jars, doesn't matter. There's a corner store on Pearl Street that still has canned beans if anyone's close enough. The guy who runs it, his name's Hassan. He's been sleeping behind the counter with his kids. I check on him every day. He's scared, but he's still opening the door for people, giving food away. Yesterday, he handed me a bag with a can of beans and 2 bottles of water, and he wouldn't take anything. Said it doesn't matter now. I wanted to hug him, but I think if I did, I wouldn't have let go. People like him are the only reason I keep talking. The sun's going to come up in a few hours, and I think I'll go out again. I need to try to find batteries. The car batteries I have are draining faster now because I keep the transmitter running longer than I should. But I can't just sit here in the dark without a voice. I don't know how long this city has before it falls apart completely. No lights, no sirens, no doctors, no one picking up the dead. You can feel it, the edge of something worse. People are trying to stay calm, but it's a thin layer. Underneath it, everyone's ready to snap. If you're out there listening, wherever you are, just hold on. Don't give up yet. Keep your head down. Stay close to the people you trust. If I make it through tomorrow, I'll be back here tomorrow night. It's 4:11 now. I can feel the batteries dipping. I'll try to save what's left so I can get through another night. It's hard to tell when morning really starts now. You can't rely on the noise of the city waking up. There's no delivery trucks, no buses, no clatter from people opening up shops. You just sit in the dark until the sky goes from black to a gray that feels like it's washed out. I've been staring out the window since a little after 5, and there's still nothing moving out there. The thing about quiet is that it plays tricks on your mind. You think you hear footsteps. You think you hear someone talking. Then you go outside, and it's just the wind between buildings. Yesterday, I thought I heard someone calling my name from the street, clear as day. But when I leaned out to look, there was no one. I stood there, leaning out, holding on to the brick with both hands, thinking, maybe I'm losing it already. I don't know how long it takes for a person to start losing pieces of their mind like that. I found an old notebook in the studio desk, and I've been writing things down, just little lists of what I see, what I hear, so I don't forget what's real. I wrote down that the hum came at 12:36 yesterday, that I saw lights over Brooklyn at 12:39, that there were 9 of them. I keep writing down what I eat too, like that's important. 2 crackers and half a can of beans. It feels stupid to write that, but at least it's something that happened. I'm thinking about the first day again. I can't stop replaying it. When the power died, there was this smell in the air. It was like burnt wires, like the whole city fried at once. People started looking up, and then the phones died, and you could feel it hit everyone at the same second. We are on our own. You don't realize how much of your life depends on that signal, that invisible thing in the air, until it's gone. I remember there was a man across the street who just sat down on the curb and held his head. That was before we even knew how bad it would get. Before we knew the trains weren't coming back. Before we knew there wouldn't be ambulances. It was like he saw it coming before the rest of us. I walked out past City Hall yesterday just to see if maybe, I don't know, there'd be someone there. It was empty. The doors were chained shut, like somebody thought locking them would still matter. There was a bike lying on its side in the middle of the steps. Looked like it had been there since the day this started. I didn't touch it. I think about people I know who don't live here. My brother lives down in Georgia. I haven't heard his voice in 8 days. I don't know if he's safe, or if he's even alive. I don't know if he's seen the lights. When I came back here last night, I saw a candle burning in an apartment window across the street. It was the first sign of another person I've seen in that building since everything went dark. Just a tiny yellow flame flickering in all that black. I wanted to yell across, but I didn't. I just sat here, staring at that little light until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. I'm telling you this because I think it matters to hold on to every small sign that someone is still out there. If there's a candle burning, that means somebody hasn't given up yet. I tried turning the radio dial again before I came on here. Same as before. Static. That soft hiss that never changes. I keep hoping I'll hear another voice. It's like throwing a line into the ocean and praying something tugs back. I keep wondering where everybody went. I know they didn't all die in one night. Some left, sure, maybe tried to walk out of the city, but not everyone. So where is everyone? Why aren't there more people in the streets? There's this stretch of FDR Drive I can see from the roof. It's full of dead cars, just sitting there like someone poured them out of a box and left them. I climbed down there the other day, just to check if maybe someone was alive inside one of them. I opened car doors, one by one. They're empty. Most of them have the keys still in them. One of them had a kid's backpack in the back seat, a drawing of a rocket ship stuffed between the seats. That one hurt to look at. I think people left on foot, heading anywhere they thought was safer than here. I don't know if they made it. I've been thinking a lot about how fast all the systems fell apart. Phones were first, then traffic lights, then ATMs and banks. By the end of the first day, the water pressure started dropping. You think about everything that depends on electricity, and you realize we don't have a backup plan for any of it. We never did. If this keeps up another week, the food in this city will be gone. There's no trucks coming, no boats, nothing's being delivered, and the shelves are already empty in half the stores. People are going to start getting desperate. I don't know what I'll do when that happens. I don't have a plan beyond this radio. Maybe that's why I keep talking. As long as I'm talking, I feel like I'm still doing something that matters. If you're listening, I need you to know something. This isn't just a blackout. It's not just a storm. Whatever's up there, they can see us. They're watching how we act when everything is gone. I don't know what they're waiting for. When that hum comes again, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to talk to them. I don't know what I'll say. Probably just ask them why. I don't know if they'll hear me. It's almost 7 now. The sky's brighter. I can see across to Brooklyn, but there's no smoke today. No fires. Just buildings standing like ghosts. I'll head out soon. Check on Hassan. Maybe see if I can make it down to the harbor, see if there's anything floating out there. I'll be back on here when I can. If the batteries hold. Don't give up, not yet. I don't know what day it is anymore. I'm looking at the marks I scratched into the wall behind me, and there are 10 of them now. 10 lines. One for every time the sun came up since the sky opened up over this city. That means it's been 10 days without power, without phones, without anyone in charge. 10 days of me talking into this mic, not knowing if anyone hears me. I walked for 5 hours today. I wanted to see how far the silence goes. It goes farther than I thought. I started here on Pearl Street and walked north until my legs burned. There are whole stretches of this city that are just empty. No voices, no footsteps, no sound except the wind moving trash around. You know that sound of paper rolling on concrete? That's what I heard more than anything. That and the gulls. They're everywhere now, fighting over food scraps. I saw 3 people all day. 2 of them were a man and a woman sitting on a bench outside a locked-up post office. They had a little pile of canned food between them, and they were just sitting there, staring at the ground. They didn't even look up when I passed. The third was a woman trying to pull a shopping cart full of water bottles. She didn't say anything either, just kept dragging it like it weighed 1,000 pounds. That's it. 3 people in 5 hours. When I got to 14th Street, I climbed on top of a car just to see if I could see farther down the road. All the traffic lights were dead, of course. There were cars everywhere, stopped like they all gave up at the same time. Some doors were hanging open. Some windows were broken. There was a city bus stuck sideways across an intersection, empty. And then I heard it. The hum. It came out of nowhere, just low and steady, pressing into everything. I froze on top of that car and looked up, and I saw them again. This time, there were more. It wasn't just a line of them. It was like a whole patch of the sky was full of lights. Hundreds of them, all moving together in this slow, perfect way, like a flock of birds that never messes up. I don't know if you can picture how that looks, but I swear to you, it doesn't look like anything we've ever built. There's no sound from them, just that hum that comes from everywhere. And then, one by one, the lights started to dim, not fade like they were flying away, just dim until the sky was empty again, and the hum faded, and that was it. I stood there on top of that car for a long time after that. I don't know how long. I just couldn't move. I don't know if they know we're watching them. I don't know if they care. I've been thinking about something I heard from a guy who used to work for the city. He came by the station on the second night, when I still had some power, and the doors weren't locked yet. He told me about a meeting he'd been in right before everything went dark. Said they'd been warned that the power grid might be targeted. Not by another country, not by a hacker, by something non-human. That's the word they used. He said everybody laughed. And then, this happened. I keep turning that over in my head. Non-human. It's one thing to see lights in the sky. It's another to hear that somebody somewhere knew this was coming and didn't tell us. I wonder what else they knew. After the hum stopped, I climbed back down from the car and started heading back south. That's when I noticed it. The city is starting to change. You can see it if you look close. The trash isn't being picked up, so it's piling against the sidewalks. People are dragging furniture out into the street and burning it for heat at night. Storefront glass is broken in more places now. And it's quiet. So quiet. I stopped by Hassan's store on the way back. He's still there. His kids were asleep in the back. He looked at me like he wanted to ask me if I'd seen anyone else. But he didn't. He just handed me a bottle of water and told me to be careful out there. That little store is like an island, one of the last places in this city that still feels like there's a person in it. When I got back here, I climbed up to the roof. I could see across the river to Brooklyn, and there were little fires burning in a few spots. Not big ones, just small orange dots in the dark. I don't know if it's people cooking or people burning things to stay warm, and I don't know if anyone is putting those fires out when they spread. This is how it starts. That's what I keep thinking. 10 days without power, and already the city feels like it's coming apart at the seams. What happens in another 10 days? What happens if those lights come back and stay? I can feel myself getting more tired every day. My hands shake sometimes when I hold this mic. I don't know if that's from hunger or fear, or both. I'm rationing food now, 1 meal a day. I don't know how long I can keep this up, but I have to. If someone hears this, it means we're not completely cut off. I want to tell you something. It's not much, but it's something. When I was walking back earlier, I saw a little kid standing on the steps of a church. Couldn't have been more than 7 years old. His hands were empty. He just stood there looking up at the sky. I asked him if he was okay, and he didn't say a word. He just pointed up, like he thought if he kept looking long enough, he'd see the lights again. There's something about that stuck with me. Even now, after everything, there's a part of us that wants to look up instead of down. If you're hearing me, hold on to that. It's getting late again. The city is going black. There's not even a candle in the window tonight. If the lights come back, I'll be here. I'll keep talking. I don't even know why I still look at my watch. The time doesn't matter anymore. There's no one waiting for me to show up somewhere. There's no meetings, no trains, no schedules. I just keep looking at it out of habit. Right now it says 2:18 in the morning. It might as well say nothing. I keep thinking about the city I used to know, the one that was loud and crowded and made you mad most of the time. I used to hate how packed the subway was. I used to hate when people cut me off on the sidewalk. I would give anything to hear that noise again. It's so still now that I can hear the metal of the building creak when the wind pushes against it. You can hear the flap of something loose a few streets over, maybe a sign hitting a pole. Every little sound stands out. There's no wind tonight. That's worse somehow. It's just flat air, heavy. I've been sitting here at this mic just talking, hoping somebody hears this. I don't know if anyone does. Maybe this is just me talking to myself so I don't lose my mind completely. I want to tell you about what happened a few hours ago. Around midnight, the hum came again. Not as strong as before, but enough that I could feel it in my ribs. I climbed up to the roof with my flashlight, even though I knew the batteries are low, and I waited. This time, the lights weren't far away. They were right above the river, maybe a mile out, hanging in the air like lanterns. They were brighter this time. I could see the reflection of them on the water. They didn't move for a long time, maybe 20 minutes, just stayed there. Then, I swear, I saw something drop from one of them. It wasn't big, just a little dark shape falling fast. I couldn't tell where it landed. Maybe in the water, maybe on the shore. After that, the lights started to move again. Slowly at first, then faster, and then they were gone. The hum went with them. I stayed on the roof long after they disappeared, trying to see if something was floating in the river. I didn't see anything, but I can't shake the feeling that whatever fell wasn't an accident. I don't know if they're watching us. I don't know if they're testing us. I just know they keep coming back. When I finally came back inside, I found that my hands were bleeding. I must have scraped them on the roof without noticing. I didn't even feel it until I saw the blood. It's strange how numb you can get when everything around you stops making sense. I'm tired. My body feels heavy all the time now. Food is low. Water is lower. I've got a few more bottles hidden away, but once they're gone, I'll have to start looking farther out. I thought about leaving today, walking north, but every time I think about leaving, I remember how empty the streets are out there. If I leave this booth, I don't know if I'll ever find another place where my voice can reach anyone. so I'm staying. At least for now. I keep talking because I don't want the world to go completely silent. Earlier today, before the lights came, I heard something new. It was faint, like a whisper under the static. But it was there. Another voice. Somewhere out there, somebody else is broadcasting. I couldn't make out the words, just bits and pieces. A name maybe, a place. But it was enough to make my heart jump. It means I'm not the only one still trying. I'm going to keep trying to tune it in tomorrow. If I can find them, maybe I can tell them where I am. Maybe we can trade news. It's strange how the smallest thing, just a flicker of a voice through static, can make you feel like maybe this isn't the end. I keep thinking about the city lights, about how bright it used to be. I used to complain that you couldn't see the stars. Now I'd give anything to bring that glow back. The sky outside is full of stars tonight. Too many. It feels wrong to see this many. It makes you feel small, like the world is a tiny piece of something much bigger, and you have no control at all. If the power ever comes back, if life ever comes back, I wonder if we'll even know what to do with it. Or if we'll just keep looking up, waiting for those lights again. I don't know what they want, but they're not leaving. If you hear me, I'll be back on this frequency as long as these batteries last. Don't give up, even if it feels like everything around you already has. I can hear the building shifting around me tonight. Every little pop in the walls makes me flinch like something's coming through the door. It's 3:03 in the morning now. I've been awake since yesterday morning and I don't feel tired in my head, but my body feels like I'm sinking into the chair. I keep shaking my hands to stay awake. I spent the whole day looking for the source of that faint voice I heard yesterday. I went up to the roof with a little portable receiver I found in one of the office drawers and just started scanning every band I could reach. Nothing but hiss, 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 until sometime in the afternoon. For maybe 10 seconds, there it was again. A voice. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like a man, and it sounded desperate. Then it cut out. I left the receiver on the roof while I went walking, just in case it came back. I walked all the way down to South Street Seaport, thinking maybe if something fell from those lights last night, it might have landed near there. I don't know what I thought I was going to find. There was nothing. No splash marks, no debris, nothing. Just empty piers. Some boats tied up with their ropes hanging loose in the water. The water was so still it looked like glass. And then, while I was out there, that hum started again. It's weird how your whole body knows it before your ears do. Like some part of you feels the pressure in the air change. It came low and steady, and I crouched behind a wall without thinking. I looked up over the edge, and there they were again. This time they weren't high up. They were low, maybe just above the top of the Brooklyn Bridge. I could see them so clearly. Bright white lights, moving slow. There had to be at least 20 of them. I could see the shape of the bridge silhouetted behind them, and they moved right over it, like they didn't even notice. I thought about yelling at them, about asking them why, but my voice just locked up in my throat. They moved right over the East River, heading north. I crouched there the whole time, waiting for something to happen, waiting for a flash or an explosion or something. Nothing happened. They just kept moving, and the hum followed them, and then it all faded away. I stood there long after they were gone, staring at the water, and I realized something that made my stomach twist. The fish are gone. The water was clear, and there was nothing. No shadows of fish moving under the surface. No gulls diving. Nothing. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if it was always like that, and I just never noticed. But I can't stop thinking about it. On my way back, I found a guy on the corner of Wall Street and Water, just sitting on the steps of a building with his head in his hands. When I asked if he was okay, he looked up at me, and his face was just blank, like he was looking right through me. He said, "Do you hear it too?" I asked what he meant, and he said, "That sound. Even when it's not here, I hear it." And then he went back to holding his head. I didn't know what to say. I left him there. I don't know if it's in my head too now. Sometimes when it's quiet, I swear I can hear a faint hum, even when there's nothing in the sky. When I got back here, I sat in this chair and just stared at the mic for a long time. I thought about not turning it on tonight, about just sitting in the dark and not saying a word. But then I remembered that voice I heard through the static earlier today. Someone is out there. Someone is trying. So I'm trying too. It's been 10 days, and I can already feel how people are starting to fade. Like their voices are getting quieter. Like they're pulling back inside themselves. If this goes on another week, I don't know how many people will still be left who even want to talk. I keep thinking about all the things I took for granted. Running water, lights that turn on when you flip a switch, seeing strangers and knowing if something happens, you can call for help. Now all that's gone, and it's just me in a dark room, talking to whoever might still be listening. Earlier tonight, just before I came on air, I lit a candle on the windowsill. I wanted to see if anyone would light one back from across the street. For a while, there was nothing. Then, maybe 15 minutes later, a little flicker appeared 3 windows up in that same building I saw lit the other night. I don't know who that person is. I don't know if they can see me. But just knowing there's someone else out there awake in the same dark makes it easier to keep going. I'll keep doing this for as long as the batteries hold. I don't know how long that will be. Every time I plug the inverter in, I can feel the power getting weaker. Tomorrow I'll go out again. Maybe I'll try the west side. See if there's anything left near the Hudson. If you're hearing this, remember to stay low when the lights come. Don't stand in the open. Fill every container you can find with water. Keep your food where nobody can see it. And if you see a light in a window, maybe light one back. It's 3:22 now. I'm going to keep talking until the battery drops too low. Then I'll sit here and listen to the hiss of the static. Don't stop listening. I went west today, just like I said I would. I walked all the way to the river. It feels strange to walk that far without hearing a single car, not even a bike. The west side was always full of people running, walking dogs, riding scooters, tourists taking pictures. Now it feels like another planet. The water there looked darker than on the other side. It smelled different too, heavier, like rust. I stood on the edge of the walkway staring out at New Jersey for a long time. Couldn't see much. Just buildings sitting like dead things. The sky above them was pale and cold. On my way there, I saw more signs that people are leaving. Suitcases abandoned on the sidewalks. Shopping carts tipped over. Shoes in the street. I didn't see the people who left them behind. I don't know where they all go. Maybe across the bridges. Maybe they just keep walking until they drop. I stopped in a building lobby on 11th Avenue. Glass doors were propped open with a chair. Inside it was pitch black and cold. There were 2 empty water bottles lying on the floor, and a jacket balled up in the corner like someone had been sleeping there. I wanted to call out, but I didn't. I don't know who might answer anymore. I keep looking at the sky now. Even when the lights aren't there, I keep watching it like I'm waiting for something. I don't even know what. Maybe some sign that this ends. The hum came while I was out there, around 2 in the afternoon this time. It rolled in slow from the south. I couldn't see them at first. I crouched behind a wall, holding my breath, waiting for them to show themselves. Then they came into view, dozens of them, moving low between the buildings. It was the closest I've ever seen them. You don't realize how big they are until they're close. Each light looked as big as a car, but they weren't solid. It was like looking at something wrapped in fog. They didn't stop this time. They just moved north, gliding in a line. The hum was so strong that I felt it shaking in my chest. I wanted to shout at them. I wanted to ask what they want, but I couldn't even open my mouth. My throat locked up, and then they were gone. Just like that. The sound left with them. I waited a long time after that, crouched down with my hands over my ears, even though it was already quiet. I don't know how to explain this, but when they pass overhead, it feels like the whole world pauses. Even the wind stops. You feel like if you move or breathe, they'll see you. I stayed on that river path for hours, long after they were gone. The sun went down and I finally started heading back here. On the way, I saw a little group of people for the first time in days. 5 of them. They had a fire going in a trash can, cooking something. They saw me and froze, like they didn't know whether to call out or hide. I lifted my hands and said I was just passing through. One of them, a woman maybe in her 40s, asked me if I'd seen any food left in the stores. I told her about Hassan's place down on Pearl, but I warned her he doesn't have much left. She just nodded and didn't say anything else. I wanted to stay with them for a bit, to feel human again, but I didn't. I just kept walking. I think that's what it's becoming now. Everyone sees each other like potential danger. Like any second, if you get too close, one of you is going to snap. Back here, the batteries are holding for now. I don't know how much longer. It's quiet outside again. No candle in the window tonight. No lights anywhere. I keep thinking about the man I saw yesterday who said he hears the hum even when it's not there. I think I'm starting to hear it too. When I sit here in the silence, I hear a low ringing in my head. Maybe it's just my brain filling the quiet. There's something else I need to tell you. When I was walking back near Tribeca, I found a piece of paper taped to a wall. The edges were torn like someone ripped it out of a notebook. On it, written in big letters, was just one word. L-E-A-V-E. No explanation. Just that. It was the only new thing I've seen taped up anywhere since all this started. I don't know if that's a warning, or a trap, or just someone losing their mind. But it's in my head now. Leave. Where would I even go? And I can't sleep. I can't stop thinking about the way the lights moved today, about how big they are when they're close. I feel like we're insects under a glass jar. If you're hearing me, I don't know what to tell you except hold on to whatever you have left that makes you feel human, even if it's small. I'll keep coming back here as long as I can. I'm going to watch the sky tonight. I don't know what I'm waiting for anymore. Maybe for an answer. Maybe just for something to change. I've been staring out this window for 2 hours now. It's so dark out there that the glass just shows me my own face back at me. My eyes look sunken. I don't even look like myself anymore. I keep thinking about how fast a person changes when the world around them stops. 10 days ago, I was another guy. I had a routine. I had a bed that smelled like detergent. Now I look like I've been underground for months. The sky hasn't made a sound tonight. I keep waiting for that hum to start. Every little creak makes me think this is the moment, that they're above me. But it's just the building settling. I went out again today, but I stayed closer this time, just around the financial district. Most of the glass on the ground level is shattered now. Not in all the buildings, but enough that you notice. People have started pulling things out. Desks, chairs, food from any kitchen they can get into. I saw someone dragging a photocopier down the street on a dolly. I almost laughed at how pointless that is now. What's he going to do with a machine that needs power? But maybe it wasn't about that. Maybe people just want to hold on to something heavy, something solid. Down on Broad Street, I passed a group of 3 guys going into a darkened bank with baseball bats. They didn't even look at me. I didn't stop to find out if there was anything in there worth taking. There isn't. The money doesn't mean anything anymore. I keep thinking about how thin the line is. 10 days without power, and it's already like this. If this goes another 10 days, I don't know how many people will still be out there trying to act like people. There was a smell in the air today that I don't like. Not garbage, not food. Something sweet and sour at the same time. Like rot. It hit me hard when I turned onto Wall Street. I didn't look too close. I didn't want to see what it was coming from. When I got back here, I found a note taped to the studio door. It wasn't there when I left. It just said, "We hear you," in black marker. No name. No explanation. I don't know who left it. I don't know if that means they heard me on this station, or if it means something else. It made my stomach turn. I looked up and down the hall, but there was no one there. I keep it on the table now, next to me. I keep looking at it, trying to figure out if it's a good thing or a bad thing. The hum didn't come today during the daylight. That's the first time since this started. I don't know if that means they're waiting for something, or if they're just moving somewhere else. There's been a faint noise on one of the other bands for hours now. I can't tell if it's a voice or just interference. I've been trying to tune it in, but every time I think I'm about to make out a word, it's gone. I've started leaving my voice on loop after I finish talking. Just a recording of me saying this frequency over and over. If anyone's out there scanning, maybe they'll hear it. Tonight, just a few minutes ago, I saw that candle again across the street. It flickered for a few seconds, then went out. I wish I could talk to that person. I don't even know if they're lighting it for me, or if it's just for themselves. It's strange how something so small can feel so important now. I've been thinking about leaving again, about trying to make it out of the city. But where do you go? If this is happening everywhere, then there's no safe place. If it's just here, then leaving means walking blind into something you don't understand. For now, I'm staying here. This mic feels like the only thing I have that connects me to anyone else. I haven't eaten today. The food I have left, I'm saving for tomorrow. I can feel it in my head, though. My thoughts are slower. My mouth is dry. I can feel the edges of panic in my chest sometimes, like I can't get a full breath. I keep telling myself, just keep talking. If I stop talking, it's like the world has already ended. I want to tell you something else I noticed. When the lights come, the animals go quiet. Even the pigeons, even the rats. It's like the whole city holds its breath. And when the hum fades, you don't hear them come back right away. It takes a while. Like they're scared too. Whatever's out there, it isn't just us that feels it. I'm going to try to find a way to get up higher tomorrow. Maybe I can see farther from one of the taller buildings. Maybe I can see if there's something on the horizon. I don't know what I'll do if I actually see something. The night feels heavier tonight, like it's pressing on the windows. I'm leaving the mic on. Even if I fall asleep, it'll stay on. If you can hear me, I'm here. The sky hasn't made a sound yet tonight, but I can feel it coming. It's like the air changes before they show up. It gets thicker, like breathing through cloth. I've been sitting here with my hands on the table, just listening for it. The clock says 3:47 a.m., but that number doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that matters is if the hum comes back. I climbed 12 flights earlier today. There's a tall building a few blocks north. My legs almost gave out by the time I got to the top, but I wanted to see if there was anything out there. From the roof, I could see all the way across the river. The city looks hollow from up there. The windows don't shine anymore. They just sit there like black holes. The streets are like lines cut into the dark. I sat on the edge for a long time and looked for smoke. I saw 3 thin trails far off to the north. Maybe people burning wood. Maybe something else. Other than that, nothing. When I was up there, I heard a noise, but it wasn't the hum. It was a voice carried on the wind. A man yelling. I couldn't make out the words, but I could hear the panic in it. It came from somewhere below, bounced around between the buildings, then faded. I didn't see anyone. I almost yelled back, but I didn't. My throat wouldn't work. On the way down, I stopped on the 8th floor. There was a hallway with the door open, and inside was an office space. Desks, computers, papers all over the floor. Someone had written on the wall in big letters, with what looked like a piece of charcoal. It said, "Look up." I stood there staring at it for a long time. That's all I've been doing these days. Looking up, waiting. I came back here before it got dark. The batteries are lower every day. I've started unplugging everything except what I need to talk. Even the little light I used to keep on is off now. I sit here in the dark with the mic in front of me. I keep my hands on it so I know it's real. When I got back, there was food left at my door. 2 cans. No note. No sound in the hall. Someone put them there while I was gone. I don't know who. I haven't eaten them yet. I just keep looking at them. It's strange how much that means. Someone out there knows I'm here and they didn't take. They gave. It almost broke me. If you left those cans and you can hear me, thank you. The hum still hasn't come tonight. That's 2 nights in a row. It almost makes me more nervous than when it does. Maybe they're regrouping. Maybe they're watching. I've been trying that other band again, the one where I heard the faint voice before. Tonight it's there, but weaker. It's like a ghost. Every few minutes I think I can make out a word, a name. I think I heard Kansas once, but it could have been anything. I want to tell you something I haven't told anyone yet. On the first night this started, after the phones died and the power cut out, I went up on the roof just to see how bad it was. And while I was up there, I saw something. Not the lights. Not yet. I saw a plane. A big one. Coming in from over the ocean. It was low, maybe trying to land. And as I watched, all the lights on it blinked off, like someone flipped a switch. No sound from the engines. It just glided, silent. I don't know if it made it to the runway. I never saw it again. That was the last plane I saw in the sky. I can't stop thinking about the people on it. Wherever you are, I hope you made it. I can hear the faintest ringing in my ears right now. I don't know if it's them or me. If it starts again tonight, I'm going to try to talk to them, even if I have to scream into the mic. I don't know if they'll hear me. I don't know if they care, but I need to try. The city feels smaller every day, like the walls are closing in. I've been thinking about my brother a lot, about the last text I sent him before everything went dark. I don't know if he ever read it. It just said, "You okay?" That's the last thing I sent. It feels like it'll stay floating out there forever. Never answered. If you're hearing this, take care of the people near you. Talk to them while you still can. We used to think we had time. We don't. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here until the battery dies. And after that, I'll just keep talking into the dark. I hear them tonight. It started about 20 minutes ago, soft at first, like a tremor you can feel in your ribs. Then it spread. It's still low now, like they're far away, but I know they're out there. The hum gets under your skin. It feels like someone's pressing their hand on the inside of your chest. I went up to the roof as soon as it started. The sky over the river was glowing faint, like moonlight, but wrong. I crouched by the ledge and waited. I don't know why I still hide. Maybe it's instinct. And then they came. Dozens, maybe more. White lights moving in long rows. No flicker, no sway, just smooth and steady. They were heading south tonight, not north like the last time. I stared at them, and I thought, this is it. I'm going to talk to them. So I stood up. My knees felt like water, but I stood up on the roof, and I cupped my hands around my mouth, and I shouted, "Why are you doing this?" My voice bounced off the empty buildings. It sounded small, like a pebble hitting a wall. The lights didn't even slow down. I shouted again, "Do you hear me?" Nothing. But then something happened. One of the lights broke formation. It peeled away from the others and stopped above the river. It just hung there, perfectly still. I froze. The hum got louder. It was so strong I could feel my teeth buzzing. I shouted, "What do you want?" And then, for a second, everything went silent. The hum stopped. The air felt like it had been pulled out of my lungs. I don't know how long that lasted, maybe just a heartbeat. And then the hum came back, louder, and the light shot straight up into the clouds so fast I couldn't even follow it. The others didn't stop. They just kept gliding south until they were gone. I stood there for a long time, shaking so hard I had to hold onto the wall to keep from falling. I came back inside, sat down here, and turned this mic on. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it was answering me. I don't know if it was a warning. But it saw me. They saw me. I can't stop thinking about that moment when the hum stopped. It was like the whole world paused. Since I came back in, I can still feel it in my chest, like it left a mark. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep after this. There's something I've been meaning to tell you. Something I've been holding back. On the fourth night, I went down to Battery Park. I don't even know why. Maybe I wanted to see the water. When I got there, I found a circle of burned-out cars, like someone had dragged them there on purpose. In the middle of that circle, there was a pile of clothes. Just clothes. No bodies. No blood. Just empty clothes piled up. I stood there staring at it for a long time. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if people left them behind, or if something else did. I don't like thinking about that. It feels like every corner of this city has turned into a question that no one answers. When I was a kid, I used to think about what I'd do if something like this ever happened. I thought I'd be brave. I thought I'd fight. Turns out, you just talk into a microphone in the dark and try not to disappear. I'm holding one of the cans of food someone left at my door. I keep turning it over in my hands like a good luck charm. I can't even bring myself to open it yet. The hum is still out there. Fainter now, like they're moving away. If anyone can hear this, if you've seen the lights, I need to know if they've come close to you too. If they've stopped for you. I don't know how many of us are left to answer. This city used to hold millions. Now it feels like it holds a few hundred ghosts. When the hum fades, I'm going to try that band again. Try to find that faint voice. Somewhere out there, someone else is talking. We have to keep talking. It's 4:19 now. The battery is dropping fast, but I don't want to shut this off yet. If the lights come back tonight, I'll be on the roof again. I don't know why. I just have to look at them. If you can hear me, stay alive. Stay hidden. Don't stop looking up. I can't stop thinking about last night. About that one light breaking away from the rest. I keep asking myself why it stopped. Why just one? Why didn't the others even slow down? Did it see me? Or was it something else? All day I've been walking around with my chest tight. Every time I think I hear that hum again, my whole body locks up. I stayed closer today. Didn't go north or west. Just circled these few blocks near the station. The streets feel different now. Quieter somehow, even though they've been quiet for days. The air smells like dust and old metal. I saw a man dragging a suitcase behind him down Nassau Street. He looked at me like he wasn't sure if I was real. We passed each other without saying a word. There was a sound coming from one of the alleys near Pine Street. I stood at the corner listening. It was a scraping noise, steady and slow. I didn't look. I just kept walking. I don't know when I started avoiding things like that. At first I wanted to know everything. Wanted to see everything. Now I just keep my head down. I stopped by Hassan's store again. It's almost empty now. He gave me a bottle of water and a piece of stale bread. I asked how his kids are doing. He just shook his head. I didn't ask anything else. People are starting to look like shadows. When I came back here, I sat in the dark for a long time. I didn't want to turn the radio on. I didn't want to hear my own voice. But then I thought about the person with the candle across the street. I thought about whoever left those cans. I thought about the faint voice on that other band. I don't know if they're still out there. But if they are, I want them to hear me. I tried scanning again earlier. That voice was there for a second. It sounded weaker tonight. Just a few broken words. I think I heard help, but it could have been anything. I keep talking back, saying where I am, repeating it, hoping they hear. It feels like throwing a message into the ocean. Tonight there's no hum. The sky is clear and still. I don't know if that's better or worse. I keep thinking about the pile of clothes in Battery Park, about how quiet that circle of cars was. It felt like something had been there. I can't stop picturing the one light that stopped above the river last night. The way the hum went silent for just that one moment. That silence was worse than the sound. I don't know what they want from us. Sometimes I think about leaving the city, just walking until my legs give out. Other times I think I'll die in this booth, talking to nobody. I don't know which one scares me more. I miss stupid things, hot coffee, the smell of a subway station, music in a store. I miss standing in a crowd and not knowing anybody. Now, when you see someone, it's like seeing a ghost. I can feel myself getting thinner. My hands shake when I hold the mic. I keep talking slower, like my mouth doesn't know how to move anymore. But I'll keep talking, because if I stop, the silence will eat everything. It's just after 3 now. The city feels like it's holding its breath. I don't know how many of us are left, but I'm still here. It rained this morning for the first time since everything went out. A slow, thin rain that barely made a sound on the pavement. I stood outside with my head tilted back and just let it run down my face. Cold, but it felt like something alive touching me. For a few minutes it almost felt like a normal morning again. I walked in it for an hour. The streets smelled cleaner, like the water washed away some of the dust that's been sitting here for days. There were puddles in the cracks of the sidewalks, and I saw one boy kneeling over one, scooping water into a plastic bag. He didn't look up when I passed. Every time I see someone now, I wonder how long it will be before we stop looking at each other like people. I walked up to the Brooklyn Bridge today. Not across it, just up to the start of it. The road is packed solid with cars that will never move again. Doors hanging open, glass everywhere. In some of them, there are pictures on the dashboards. Kids, dogs, smiling people. It's like looking into another world. I climbed up onto the railing and looked across. Brooklyn looks like a shadow now. You can't hear anything from there. No cars, no voices. The bridge is so quiet that I could hear the water below slapping against the stone. I stayed there for a long time just listening. Then I heard it again. Not the hum. A voice. A woman screaming somewhere far away on the other side. The sound bounced across the bridge and then stopped. I didn't see anyone. I thought about going toward it, but my feet wouldn't move. I came back here before it got dark. I can feel the batteries draining faster now. I don't know how many more nights I can keep this going before everything dies. I've been thinking about the people who used to live on these streets. Where did they all go? I think a lot about the first night, about that moment when the lights went out. Everyone thought it was just a blackout. We were annoyed, pulling out our phones, thinking it was temporary. We didn't know the world had just ended. Every day since then feels like a slow falling. I don't even know why I'm talking about this anymore. Maybe because if I say it out loud, it makes it real. The hum hasn't come yet tonight. The sky looks clean. Too clean. I keep expecting to see those lights. There's something I haven't told you. Something I saw yesterday, when I was on the west side. I didn't want to say it last night because I thought maybe I imagined it. Out on the water, way out past where the ferries used to run, there was a shape. Big, round, dark. It wasn't a boat. It wasn't moving. It was just sitting there, almost level with the horizon. I looked at it for a long time. I blinked. I rubbed my eyes. It didn't move. When the hum started later, it was gone. I don't know if it was real. I keep looking out that way now, waiting for it to show again. It feels like there are more questions every day and fewer answers. I want to believe that someone, somewhere, still has answers. It's almost 4 now. I can hear the faintest ringing again. I don't know if it's my ears or if they're coming. If you can hear this, I'm still here. I'll keep talking until I can't. I think I'm starting to forget what day it is. I had to scratch another line on the wall earlier, but I couldn't remember if I already did it yesterday or not. The marks don't even look straight anymore. Maybe that's what happens when everything feels like the same long hour. I tried to keep track of time by the sound of the city before all this. You could tell what hour it was by how loud things got. Trucks in the morning, horns around lunch, sirens at night. Now, there's nothing. Just a thin wind that goes down the streets like it's looking for something. This morning, I found a dead pigeon in the stairwell. It looked like it had just fallen where it was flying. No marks, no blood. Just gone. I left it there. I didn't want to touch it. I spent the day listening for that faint voice again. I stayed in the booth, turning the dial slow back and forth. I could hear something every now and then. Just a sound like someone trying to talk through a blanket. I yelled into the mic every time I thought I heard it, saying who I am, where I am. Nothing came back. I don't know if they can hear me. I think about how big this city used to feel. Now it's just blocks. Tiny blocks I walk around in over and over like a rat in a box. I went up to the roof again before it got dark. I wanted to see if the candle across the street would come back tonight. It did. Around 7. Just a small glow 3 floors up. It stayed there until almost midnight. I don't know if they're watching me the same way I watch them. I wish I could talk to them, even just to hear another voice. When I was a kid, I used to sit by the window and listen to late-night radio. People calling in, music playing. It felt like no matter how late it got, there was someone awake somewhere. Now it's just me. The hum didn't come today. That's 3 nights in a row now. The silence is worse somehow. At least when the hum is there, you know where to point your fear. I found a picture in the hallway earlier. A family photo torn at the corner. A man, a woman, 2 kids sitting in a park. It must have fallen out of someone's bag. I taped it to the wall here. I don't know why. Maybe so. I don't forget what people looked like when they smiled. Sometimes I wonder if this is the new world now. No power, no sound, just people scattered in pieces. I keep thinking about the one that stopped over the river 2 nights ago, about how the sound cut out, about how empty everything felt in that moment. I don't know why it did that. I'm tired. My hands feel slow, but I'm still here. If you're out there, keep a light somewhere, even if it's small. Keep a voice somewhere. Don't let the dark take all of it. I walked farther than I planned today. I told myself I'd just stay around here, but when I stepped out into the street, the air felt clearer, and I just kept going. Down past the empty banks, past the restaurants with tables flipped over, past the cars that will never move again. I made it all the way to the water on the west side again. I think I keep going there because I want to see if that big shape comes back on the horizon. Today, there was nothing. Just gray water stretching out forever. There were more gulls there than the last time, though. They weren't flying much, just standing around, quiet, watching. It's strange to see birds that still. I found a little kiosk by the river with bottled water inside. The glass was already cracked, so I pushed it open and took 2 bottles. I left the rest. I don't know who might come looking after me, but I couldn't carry more than that anyway. On the way back, I saw something that's going to sit in my head for a long time. There was a car stopped in the middle of the street, like all the others. The driver's door was open. In the back seat was a baby stroller, and inside the stroller was just a blanket. Nothing else. I don't know why that hit me so hard. I stood there staring at it until my legs felt like they'd lock. Then I just walked away. The hum hasn't come yet tonight. That's 4 nights now. 4 nights of nothing but the kind of quiet that makes your skin itch. I don't know if they're waiting for something. I came back here before dark and sat on the roof again. I watched the sky until the stars came out. They were so bright tonight that you could see the Milky Way like a smear across the sky. I don't remember the last time I saw that in New York. It felt wrong, like we're looking at the sky from another world now. When I came back down, there was another note on my door. This one said, "Stay awake." That's all it said. Same handwriting as the first one. I don't know who keeps leaving them. I don't know if they're warning me or messing with me. I locked the door and sat here for an hour staring at it. I'm staring at it now while I talk. I keep thinking about the way those lights moved that night, about the one that stopped. It saw me. I feel like it marked me somehow. I can still feel it when I close my eyes. The batteries are dropping faster now. I can hear the little inverter whining. I'll keep this going as long as I can. If you're hearing me, take care of yourself. Drink water. Stay out of sight. If you hear the hum, don't run out into the open. If you've seen them stop the way they did for me, I need to know. I don't know if there's anyone left to tell me. It's 3:58 now. I'll stay awake tonight. I've been awake since yesterday morning. The words on that note keep circling in my head. Stay awake. I keep wondering if something happens when you sleep. I stayed on the roof last night for as long as I could, watching. The sky was so clear it looked sharp. No hum, no lights. Just stars that feel like they're staring back at you. Around 4 in the morning, I thought I saw a flicker way out over the water, like a single point of light blinking once and then gone. It was so fast, I can't even be sure it was real. When the sun came up, the city looked washed out. Wet streets from yesterday's rain. I could see tracks in the dirt where someone had pushed a cart or maybe dragged something heavy down the road. I went out after that. Walked east this time, toward the water again, but on the other side. I wanted to see if the ferries were still there. Some of them are. Tied to the docks, rocking slow. Nobody on them. There was a smell there that made me stop breathing for a second. Rot. Thick and heavy. I didn't go near the closed cabins. I think that smell is coming from inside. I sat on the pier for a while, legs hanging over the edge. The water was flat. I didn't see a single fish. On my way back, I heard glass break somewhere ahead of me. I froze, waited. 2 people came out of a storefront carrying boxes. They didn't look at me, just kept walking. I don't even think about calling out anymore. It's like everyone's decided it's safer to be invisible. I got back here and found another note taped to the door. Same handwriting. This one said, "Don't look away." I don't know what that means. I keep the notes on the table now. I read them over and over. We hear you. Stay awake. Don't look away. Whoever is leaving them hasn't tried to talk to me. I don't know if they will. It's strange how quickly your world shrinks. These blocks, this booth, this mic. That's it. The hum hasn't come tonight either. 5 nights now. Maybe they've moved on. Maybe they're somewhere else. Or maybe they're just waiting. I've started hearing that faint ringing in my head all the time now. It's low, like it's sitting just under the sound of my own pulse. Sometimes I wonder if that's the real sound, and the rest of it, the deep, loud hum, is just when it gets close enough for everyone to hear. I don't sleep much anymore. My head dips forward for a few minutes here and there, then I snap awake. Every time I close my eyes, I see that one light breaking off, hanging there. I think about what would have happened if it had come closer. I think about whether I would have run. I don't think I would have. It's after 3 now. No hum, no lights, just the sound of this old mic humming with me. If you're out there, I hope you're still holding on. I'll stay awake tonight. I think I'm starting to understand how silence can get inside your head like water in a crack, splitting you apart slow. There hasn't been a hum for almost a week now. I sit here with this old receiver turned low and it's just me and the hiss. Sometimes I leave it on all night while I watch the window because the hiss is better than nothing. I stayed awake like the note said. I haven't really slept since. Maybe that's why my head feels like it's full of fog, but I can't risk it. Every time I feel myself sliding towards sleep, I see those 3 words in my head. Stay awake. I don't know who wrote them. I don't know why. But something in me believes them. I tried to keep busy today so I wouldn't collapse. I walked south down toward Battery Park again, because I keep thinking maybe the river will give me an answer. The park is almost gone now, nothing but wet ground and scattered trash. I walked past that circle of cars again, the one with the pile of empty clothes in the middle. It looks exactly the same as the first time. Not a single thing moved. The rain yesterday washed the ground, but nothing inside that circle looks touched. I stayed far back. I didn't want to step into that space. I saw no one for blocks on the way back, just a stray dog nosing at an overturned trash bin. When it saw me, it bolted. Even the animals don't want to be close anymore. On my way here, I looked down a side street and saw something strange. There was a car at the end of it with every door wide open, trunk open too. And around it, in a perfect ring on the pavement, there were cans of food, stacked, neat, like someone had lined them up carefully, but there was no one there. I stood there watching it from half a block away, and the hair on my arms went up. I didn't touch anything. I turned around and walked away. Back here, I checked the door. No note tonight. Just the old one staring back at me from the table. I've been thinking about leaving this building, but then I picture the streets at night, and I can't. Up here, behind these locked doors, with the batteries still giving me some voice, it feels like maybe I'm less invisible than I would be out there. It's strange how fast fear rewires you. A few days ago, the lights terrified me. Now it's the quiet that does. I keep wishing they would come back, even though I don't know what they are or what they want. At least when they're here, you know something is out there. Now, it just feels like we've been left behind. The candle across the street didn't show tonight. Maybe whoever it was has gone. Maybe they just don't want to waste the wax. That little light was something I looked for every night. Without it, the dark feels heavier. I sat on the roof again for hours. The stars were brighter than I've ever seen. It's so clear up there that you can see faint clouds of them like dust. I stared at that until my neck ached. Around midnight, I thought I saw a shadow cross over the stars, something big and round and silent. It only lasted a second. Then the stars were back. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks now. When I came back inside, I found myself standing in front of the wall where I've been marking the days. There are 15 lines scratched there now. 15. It feels like more. I keep asking myself what day the world actually ended. Was it the first day, when the lights went out? Or was it a few days later, when we realized no one was coming? Or is it today, and tomorrow, and every day after that, as the noise and the people fade more and more? I can feel myself changing, talking slower, thinking slower. My own voice sounds like it's coming from someone else now. Sometimes I think I hear my voice coming from the static, answering me, but when I turn up the volume, it's gone. I wish I knew if someone was hearing me. Just one person. That would be enough. I keep imagining what it would be like if I heard a knock at the door. Not someone breaking in, not someone stealing, just a knock. Someone saying they heard me and they found me. I don't know what I'd do. Probably just sit there and cry. I'm still here. That's all I can tell you. I'll keep sitting in this booth, in this dark building, with these lines on the wall and the hiss in my ears. As long as I can talk, I will. It's almost 4 now. No hum, no lights, just the quiet. I sat up here all last night with my back against the wall. The whole building was so quiet, I could hear water dripping somewhere down in the stairwell. I counted the drips for hours. Anything to stay awake. There was no note on the door this morning. I almost wanted to see one. At least when there's a note, someone is close. The longer there's nothing, the more it feels like whoever left them is gone. I walked north today, further than I've gone in a week. My legs feel like wood now, but I had to see something different. On the way, I passed an old diner. The windows were smashed out. Inside there were plates still sitting on the tables, cups knocked over. I stood there looking at all that dust on everything. 10 days and the city already looks like it's been empty for years. Further up, I found a street where someone had written on the road in big white paint, "Don't trust the sky." The letters were big enough to see from a block away. I stopped in the middle of the street and just stared at those words. I don't know who wrote them. I don't know if they're alive. It's strange how a sentence on the ground can make you feel like someone's still here even when they're not. I went all the way up to around 34th Street before I turned around. That far north, the city feels even more hollow. There are fewer broken windows, fewer signs of people. It's like everyone just walked out and left it. I saw a grocery store that hadn't been touched. The doors were locked, but the windows weren't broken. Through the glass, I could see rows of food. Perfect. Untouched. It scared me. I don't know why. I just stood there looking through the glass, and then I walked away. On the way back, I saw someone running. The first person I've seen move fast in days. A man. He was carrying something, and he didn't look back. I didn't follow. The city smells different up there, like damp concrete. By the time I made it back, my legs were shaking so bad I had to sit down on the curb. I sat there for a while, watching nothing happen. Back in the booth, the batteries are almost empty now. I don't know how many nights I've got left on these. I need to find more. I still haven't heard the hum. 6 nights now. I can feel the ringing in my head even when it's silent. I keep thinking about the paint on the street. Don't trust the sky. It makes me wonder if the quiet is worse than the lights. It's almost 3:30 now. No candle in the window across the street again. Maybe they're gone. I don't know how many of us are still trying. If you hear me, don't give up yet. I'll stay awake tonight. I'll be here tomorrow if there's enough power. It's been 6 nights with no hum now. I keep wondering if I should be relieved or if I should be worried that this is something else, something worse. Every time I hear a creak in the walls, I half expect it to start again. And when it doesn't, the silence feels like it's laughing at me. I sat in this booth most of the day today. I didn't even go out to check on Hassan. I just couldn't bring myself to open the door. There's a part of me that's scared of what I won't see now. Every time I walk down there, I expect to find that store empty, door swinging open, no voices left. If that day comes, I don't know what I'll do. So I stayed here and listened. I tuned across every band, slow, just waiting for that faint voice. And I swear to you, I heard it clearer today. It was a man, maybe. The words are all broken, but I think I heard north and river. It faded out before I could answer. I shouted into the mic anyway. I said where I am. I said I can hear him. I said I'm alive. I don't know if he heard me. I think I'm starting to forget what I sound like. I keep touching my face to remind myself I'm still here. The city outside is starting to look different. Even in the daylight, there's more smoke now. Not thick columns, just little smudges on the horizon. I think people are burning anything they can find to cook with. I saw a woman from the roof today, pulling a door off a car and dragging it down the street like a sled. I don't know where she was going. There are more crows now, too. Loud during the day. At night, they vanish. I miss the candle across the street. I keep looking at that window. It's still dark. The last note on my table says, "Don't look away." I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. I've been awake so long that my eyes sting when I blink. Every time I close them, I see flashes. Not dreams, just little shapes of light. Sometimes I think maybe that's what they want, for us to stay awake long enough that we break ourselves. The food is almost gone. I've got 2 cans left. After that, I'll have to risk going farther out. I think about leaving the city every day now, just taking whatever I can carry and walking north until I can't walk anymore. But I can't shake the feeling that whatever's happening here isn't just here. I want to believe there's still somewhere safe. I want to believe there's still someone listening. The static is so loud tonight. It's like it's filling the room. Sometimes I think I hear my name in it. It's after 3:40 now. No hum, no lights. Just this signal. If you hear me, stay alive. I'll be here again if the power holds. The gate on Hassan's store is still down. I went by there this morning first thing. The metal shutter looked the same as yesterday, locked from the inside. I stood there for a long time, pressing my ear to it. But there was nothing. No sound. No voices. That little store always felt like an anchor, like as long as it was open, somebody was holding on. Seeing it closed made the whole block feel like it was tilting. I walked farther than I planned after that. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't want to come back here right away. Down near Wall Street, there's an alley where someone has built a fire pit out of bricks. It's cold ash now, but it looks like someone's been there. I saw a pack of dogs today, 6 of them running together. They didn't look sick, just fast. When they saw me, they stopped and stared. We stood there, looking at each other for maybe a full minute before they took off down the street. It's strange how animals seem to know what's happening before we do. I found an office building with the doors open. Inside, it smelled like wet carpet and dust. I climbed 10 floors just to see the city from a different angle. From up there, you can see how empty it really is. The streets are just gray lines. No movement. No sound. I stayed there a while. It was the first time in a while I let myself just sit in one place and breathe without listening for footsteps. On the way back down, I found a hallway where someone had written on the wall in black marker, "Watch the water." I don't know what that means. When I came back out, it felt colder. I got back here just as it started to get dark. There was a noise tonight that I haven't heard since the first days. Not the hum. Something else. It sounded like a high whine, faint, like it was coming from above the clouds. It lasted maybe a minute, and then stopped. I went up to the roof as fast as I could. The sky looked empty, but I swear it didn't feel empty. It felt like something was up there, just out of sight. I stayed there for over an hour, staring at the water, thinking about the writing on that wall. Watch the water. I don't know if that's a warning or an answer. The candle across the street stayed dark again tonight. I think they're gone. It's been 7 nights now with no hum. The ringing in my head is still there. I don't know what comes next. I'm going to leave the mic on tonight. If anyone out there is listening, I'm here. Even if it feels like no one is. It's 3:58, still no hum, still no lights, just me. I walked without a plan today. I don't even know why. Maybe because sitting still makes the walls feel like they're pressing in. I left just after sunrise, which doesn't even look like sunrise anymore. It's more like the sky just turns from black to dull white. The streets near the waterfront smell like salt and rust. The air is colder there too. I followed the road along the edge of the river, past rows of cars that haven't moved since that first morning. There was a ferry still tied up near the dock. I climbed on board just to see what was inside. Everything was as if people left in the middle of the ride. Jackets draped over seats, coffee cups rolled under the benches, a phone lying on the floor with a cracked screen. I walked through every aisle. I didn't see anyone. Not a sound. Up on the deck, I leaned over the rail and stared at the water. I didn't see fish or boats or anything. Just that flat gray stretch going on forever. Then, faint, I heard something. A splash far away. By the time I looked up, there was nothing but ripples. I stayed there a long time, waiting for another. Nothing came. I walked back through the city after that. I passed a man sleeping on the steps of an office building with a blanket pulled over his head. I didn't wake him. When I reached the street with the writing, "Don't trust the sky," I stood there again, staring at the words. They feel heavier every time I see them. I think about the way the sky has been these last 7 nights. Too still. By the time I got back here, it was almost dark. And then, just after midnight, it came. Not the full hum, not the sound that shakes the air. This was a low, deep pulse. It lasted maybe 10 seconds, then faded. I ran to the roof. The sky looked empty. But that sound came again. 10 seconds. Fading. I swear the water below started to ripple even though there was no wind. I stayed up there until almost 3, staring at the river. I thought I saw a flash way out, like something deep under the surface. It was gone in an instant. Watch the water. That's what the writing said. I don't know what's out there. I came back down, and now I'm sitting here with my hands shaking. Something is changing. 8 nights without the hum, and now this. I don't know if it's better or worse. It's 3:42 now. The sound is gone. The city is still. If anyone out there can hear me, pay attention to the water. I think that's where the next thing will come from. I walked without a plan today. I don't even know why. Maybe because sitting still makes the walls feel like they're pressing in. I left just after sunrise, which doesn't even look like sunrise anymore. It's more like the sky just turns from black to dull white. The streets near the waterfront smell like salt and rust. The air is colder there too. I followed the road along the edge of the river, past rows of cars that haven't moved since that first morning. There was a ferry still tied up near the dock. I climbed on board just to see what was inside. Everything was as if people left in the middle of the ride. Jackets draped over seats, coffee cups rolled under the benches, a phone lying on the floor with a cracked screen. I walked through every aisle. I didn't see anyone, not a sound. Up on the deck, I leaned over the rail and stared at the water. I didn't see fish or boats or anything, just that flat gray stretch going on forever. Then, faint, I heard something. A splash far away. By the time I looked up, there was nothing but ripples. I stayed there a long time, waiting for another. Nothing came. I walked back through the city after that. I passed a man sleeping on the steps of an office building with a blanket pulled over his head. I didn't wake him. When I reached the street with the writing, "Don't trust the sky," I stood there again, staring at the words. They feel heavier every time I see them. I think about the way the sky has been these last 7 nights. Too still. By the time I got back here, it was almost dark. And then, just after midnight, it came. Not the full hum. Not the sound that shakes the air. This was a low, deep pulse. It lasted maybe 10 seconds, then faded. I ran to the roof. The sky looked empty. But that sound came again. 10 seconds. Fading. I swear the water below started to ripple even though there was no wind. I stayed up there until almost 3, staring at the river. I thought I saw a flash way out, like something deep under the surface. It was gone in an instant. Watch the water. That's what the writing said. I don't know what's out there. I came back down and now I'm sitting here with my hands shaking. Something is changing. 8 nights without the hum, and now this. I don't know if it's better or worse. It's 3:42 now. The sound is gone. The city is still. If anyone out there can hear me, pay attention to the water. I think that's where the next thing will come from. I couldn't sleep, not even for a minute. That pulse last night, it's still in my chest. I keep putting my hand over my heart like I'll feel it again from the inside. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't sound like the hum. It was like the water itself was talking, and I could feel it in my ribs. I walked back to the river early this morning. The fog was so thick I couldn't see more than a block ahead. Everything looked blurred, like the city was dissolving. I followed the sound of gulls and ended up right at the same dock where I was yesterday. I stood there for maybe an hour just staring into that fog. Every time a shape started to form, I thought I'd see something moving, but it was just mist. And then I heard it. Not loud, just a single splash somewhere out in the gray. Then another, slow, far apart. I didn't see what made them. I don't think I wanted to. I don't know why I keep going back there. Maybe I'm waiting for something I can understand. On the way back, I passed the grocery store with the glass still intact. It's still untouched. That's been in my head since I first saw it. Why hasn't anyone gone in? 10 days without power, and there's a store full of food sitting right there. Something about it feels wrong. I walked past it quick without looking. The city is quieter than I've ever heard it today. Not even dogs. Not even birds once I left the river. Just that thin wind moving cans down the sidewalk. I came back here just before dark. I wanted to be off the streets. My legs are heavy from walking. My throat is dry. I sat in the booth with my head down for almost an hour before I turned the mic on. I keep thinking about that note. Watch the water. Whoever wrote it, they knew something. It's past 3 now. No hum tonight. Just that memory of the pulse. I can feel it like a second heartbeat. I keep waiting for those lights to come back. But maybe they don't need to. Maybe they're not in the sky anymore. If anyone can hear this, be careful if you're near the water. Don't get close unless you have to. Something is moving out there, and it isn't us. I'll be here again tomorrow if the power holds. I don't know how much longer I can keep saying that, but I'll say it anyway. I spent most of today inside. My legs feel like they don't want to carry me anywhere anymore. I just sat in this room with the static hissing low and the notes on the table in front of me. I read them over and over, like they're going to change if I stare long enough. Sometime in the afternoon, I heard footsteps in the hall. Slow, one at a time. I froze, didn't breathe. Whoever it was stopped right outside this door, just stood there. I didn't move. I could hear my heart in my ears. Then they walked on. I waited another 10 minutes before I even got up to look through the crack. The hallway was empty. No new note. I don't know if that's better or worse. Later, around dusk, I went up to the roof. The air felt heavier, like the city was waiting for something. Over the river, there was this thin, flat band of light. It didn't move, just hung there. It was faint, like sunlight bending wrong. I stood there staring until it faded. When the light was gone, the sound came. Not the hum, not even the deep pulse from the other night. This was faint, almost like a low whistle that you can feel in your bones more than you hear with your ears. It came in short waves, like someone drawing a bow across a string and then stopping. I crouched low and held on to the ledge. My stomach felt like it was pulling down through the roof. Then, for the first time since all this started, I saw something coming out of the water. It wasn't big, not from here, but it was dark and round and slow, breaking the surface and then sinking back down without a ripple, like something testing the air. I didn't stay to see if it came back. I ran down the stairs so fast I almost fell. Now I'm here, staring at the mic, trying to get my breath back. I don't think the sky is where we need to be looking anymore. 8 nights of no hum, and now this. The sound is different. The movement is different. It's after 4 now. The sound has stopped. The city is quiet again. But I can't shake what I saw. If you're anywhere near water, stay away from the edge. Watch the water. I barely slept, if at all. Every time I close my eyes now, I see that shape rising out of the river, slow and silent, and it feels like the whole city is just waiting for whatever is under there to finally come up all the way. This morning I walked out toward the river again, not because I wanted to, but because I felt like I had to see it with my own eyes in daylight. There was nothing on the surface, just a smooth gray sheet, no ripples, no birds. The fog burned off around noon, and the sun made the water shine like steel. For a few seconds, I forgot what I'd seen last night. Then I looked down at the wet marks along the pier. Big round marks, not boot prints, not tire tracks. Just wet patches like something heavy had dripped its way up and then gone back in. I backed away without taking my eyes off the water. On the way back, I passed the grocery store again. The glass is still there, still unbroken, still full of food. I don't like how it looks. It feels like a trap. Halfway home, I stopped to sit on the curb. My whole body feels slow now. I can feel my strength thinning out a little each day. I saw 2 kids go by while I was sitting there. Couldn't have been more than 10 years old. One of them was holding a broom handle like a spear. They didn't look at me. Just kept going. When I finally made it back here, there was a sound I haven't heard in days. Knocking. 3 knocks on the door. I froze in the hallway, just standing there listening. I didn't answer. After a few seconds, nothing. When I finally worked up the nerve to push the door open, the hall was empty. On the floor was another note. This one says, "Do not go to the water after dark." I don't know who's leaving these, but I believe them. I came in, locked the door, and now I'm sitting here reading those words over and over. The night feels thicker tonight. The air is still, but it feels like it's pressing on the windows. I can feel that pulse again, faint, like it's coming from under the ground this time. It's after 3. No hum yet, no lights. But the river isn't quiet. If you're near the water, stay away. I'll be here tomorrow if the batteries hold. I stayed inside all day today. Didn't even step out into the street. My legs felt heavy, and my head was full of that note from last night. Don't go to the water after dark. I sat in here with the door locked and listened. I could hear faint noises through the walls. Creaks. A soft thump once, like someone dropped something far away. I didn't move. Around the middle of the day, I thought I heard that faint voice again on the other band. Clearer this time. It was just a handful of words, but I think I heard bridge, and then safe, and then static. I said my name and where I am, over and over, until my throat hurt. But I don't know if anyone heard me back. Late this afternoon, I heard a sound that made me stop breathing. It was like someone dragging something heavy across the street. Slow. I crept up to the window and looked out. There were 3 people pulling a mattress down the street. 1 in front, 2 in the back. They weren't talking. They didn't even look up. Just dragged it all the way to the corner and turned. I stood there watching them until they disappeared. The city looks more empty every day. Even when I see people, they feel like shadows. I didn't go up to the roof tonight. I couldn't make myself do it. I don't want to see what's coming out of the water anymore. I've been thinking a lot about those first days, before the hum, about how fast everything went from normal to gone. Sometimes I wonder if we're all still here, and it's just the rest of the world that's gone. Like this city is the last place left. It's almost 4 now. No hum, no lights. But I swear I can hear something faint under the building. A slow, deep beat, like the ground itself is breathing. I'm going to leave this mic on all night again. If someone out there is talking, I want to catch them. I'll be back on here tomorrow, as long as the batteries let me. If you're out there, hold on. I didn't hear the hum tonight, but something else woke me. I must have drifted off for maybe an hour with my head on the table, because when I opened my eyes, the static was still hissing, and the room was dark the way it only gets after midnight. At first, I thought it was a dream, a low rumble, steady, not from the sky this time. It was coming from under me, through the floor. I pressed my hand against the table. I could feel it shaking. I just sat here, holding my breath, until it faded. Then, silence. I went to the window after that, slow, careful. The street was empty, but the river, even from here I could see little ripples across it, like something moving under the surface. I didn't go to the roof. I couldn't. It's strange how the fear has changed. At first it was the sky that made me afraid to breathe. Now it's the water. I stayed in here all day again. I ate half a can of beans. That's all I have left now. The city smells different. Even with the windows closed, there's a sourness in the air, like wet metal. Just after sundown, I heard footsteps again. Slow. Same as before. They came down the hall and stopped outside my door. I sat with my hand on the lock, frozen. And then, through the crack at the bottom, a piece of paper slid into the room. I didn't move until the footsteps were gone. The note says, "They are using the rivers now. No name, no explanation." I think whoever is leaving these is watching the water too. I keep all the notes spread out in front of me when I talk. We hear you. Stay awake. Don't look away. Do not go to the water after dark. They are using the rivers now. I don't know who's writing them. I don't know if they're warning me or telling me it's already too late. The ringing in my head has been louder since that rumble last night. It hasn't stopped once. It's after 3 now. The river looks still, but I know better. If you can hear me, keep your distance from the water. I think that's where they are now. I left early this morning, before the sun even showed. I needed to see if there was anything left out there that didn't feel like the walls closing in. The streets at that hour look like they've been erased. No color, no sound, no one, just shapes in the dark. I walked north for a long time. My body feels lighter when I'm walking, even if my legs ache. I passed blocks of offices, banks, restaurants, nothing but empty chairs and broken glass. Somewhere around 42nd Street, I found a line of cars parked bumper to bumper. It looked like people tried to leave but never made it out. Doors open, bags left behind. I stopped at one of the cars, looked inside. A backpack on the front seat. It was full of clothes. I didn't take anything. I just stood there, looking at it, thinking about the person who packed it, zipped it up. Thought they'd be somewhere safe by now. I kept going until I hit the river. Hudson, this time. The water was flat as glass. No sound, no wind. And then I saw it. Far out, maybe halfway to the Jersey side. Something big and dark rising up just under the surface. It stayed there for a long time, like it was looking around. And then it sank. The water barely moved. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. My legs just wouldn't work. I stood there, staring at that spot long after it was gone. On the way back, I saw more words, spray painted on a wall in red. Don't let them see you move. I don't know who wrote it. Back here, there was no note on my door today. Just the old one sitting on the table, curling at the edges. The river feels closer tonight, even though I can't see it from here. It feels like it's under everything. I keep touching the walls, like I can feel that rumble again, but there's nothing tonight. No hum, no lights, only that memory of something huge under the water. I can feel it when I close my eyes. It's 3:56 now. If anyone is out there listening, do not go near the rivers. Whatever's happening now, it's coming from below. I can't get that image out of my head. That huge shape rising up under the Hudson yesterday. When I woke up this morning, for a second, I forgot where I was. Then I remembered, and it felt like the weight of the whole river dropped back onto me. I stayed inside again today. My body feels hollow. I ate the last half can of beans. There's nothing left in here now. If I want to keep going, I'll have to risk leaving tomorrow to look for food. I've been putting it off because the streets feel worse every day. There's been a low vibration in the floor all night. It's faint, like someone dragging a bass note through the concrete. I feel it in my teeth. Around 1 a.m, I heard a splash out by the river. It was loud enough that I could hear it even from here, behind the windows. Then silence. I climbed partway up the stairs to the roof, but I stopped halfway. I couldn't make myself go out there. I just stood in the stairwell, listening. I thought I heard voices far away, maybe by the water. I came back down, locked the door, sat here in the booth staring at these notes. I keep looking at the one that says they are using the rivers now. Whoever left it was right. It's been over a week without the hum. I don't know if it's ever coming back. Maybe it doesn't have to. There's no candle across the street anymore. No sign of anyone there. I think about how many people were here 2 weeks ago, and how many are still here now. I think that number gets smaller every day. The ringing in my head is sharper tonight. Sometimes I wonder if it's really ringing at all, or if it's something else, something they put there. I have to go out tomorrow. I'll try the grocery store with the glass still intact, even if it feels wrong. I don't have a choice. It's after 3 now. The city feels like it's waiting for something. If you hear this, hold on. Don't stop paying attention. Watch the water. I left early this morning with an empty bag, heading straight for that grocery store. I told myself I'd just break the glass and grab whatever I could carry and get out before anything happened. The streets were empty. No footsteps, no dogs, no voices. Just me and the echo of my shoes. When I got there, I stood in front of the glass for a long time. I could see everything inside. Rows of cans, bags of rice, bottles of water. It looked untouched. Too untouched. I don't know why, but I waited. I stood there listening. I didn't hear a thing. Finally, I picked up a piece of metal from the ground and hit the glass. It didn't break. I hit it again, harder. Nothing. Not even a crack. I dropped the bar and just stared at it. I don't know what that glass is made of, but it isn't normal. I left. I didn't want to be near it anymore. On the way back, I passed a building where someone had written on the sidewalk in chalk, "Do not take what they leave." I don't know what that means, but it made my stomach twist. I made it back here with nothing. No food, no water. Tonight, just before I came on air, I heard the rumble again. Low, deep, like it was crawling under the whole city. I went to the window and saw ripples spreading across the river, even though there's no wind. Then I saw lights. Not in the sky, under the water. Faint at first, moving slow, like they were looking for something. I couldn't breathe. They stayed there for a long time. Then they sank deeper, and the water went still. I don't think the sky matters anymore. It's the rivers now. It's 3:44 in the morning. If you're listening, don't go near the water.